Now to Victoria, where our farmers are protesting against the Albanese and Andrews government's net zero plan that will require the installation of thousands of 85-metre tall transmission towers through some of the most productive agricultural land in the country. Joining me to discuss this is the formidable Bev McArthur, the Liberal Party member of the Victorian Legislative Council. Bev, thank you very much for your time tonight. Tell me, why are farmers against having these large transmission lines across their properties?
Well, Amanda, they will decimate lives and livelihoods, but it's not only farmers who'll be affected, it's the pristine countryside where environmentalists know that this is not going to be a good thing. They're going to decimate townspeople. Housing values have already dropped with a view to where these lines are going to go. And in the Goldfields Shire, they're trying to produce a UNESCO World Heritage listing for their area. Well, I don't know whether UNESCO think 85-metre high transmission towers is good enough for a World Heritage listing. I can't believe they would. So it is so many aspects. Towns, country people, whole communities are being affected by these power lines. But I've been on this crusade with these wonderful people for over 3 years now, and I, for day one, sat in Emma Muir's kitchen and we worked out how on earth this could be a reasonable proposition. The power lines are not only 85 metres high, but they have a 100-metre easement around them. Now, if you're a potato farmer,
right,
that will mean you can't use your boom sprays, and it affects firefighting and many other aspects of agriculture as well.
People forget that farmers are ultimately the best environmentalists because they've got a vested interest in that property being sustainable long into the future. Have these farmers been properly consulted by the government?
Oh, absolutely not. They've been walked over, trodden over, abused. The Labor members of Parliament in these areas don't return phone calls, they don't answer emails. They are AWOL on steroids. They are a disgrace, and the government is just riding roughshod over all these people, whether in a town or on a farm. And you know, all these people inside the tram tracks of Melbourne and in other areas now in New South Wales have drunk the zero-emission Kool-Aid without consideration for how you're going to get energy from A to B without decimating our pristine countryside. It is a disgrace. Nobody is against renewables, but you want green energy, we're going to have a green method of transmitting it that doesn't put a blight on the country for hundreds of years to come, because these things aren't going to be removed anytime soon once they get erected. And if we allow the first one to be built, after all, Victoria's not done a transmission line for 40 years, and if we use this old technology now, rest assured it will be the prototype into the future. And even worse, Lily D'Ambrosio has imposed her view on extra kilometres of these power lines into New South Wales. So she's actually telling New South Wales how they can do power lines. But to the credit of New South Wales, they're now conducting an inquiry into how we could do this better. They at least have some sort of an open mind, even if they're just going through the motions. That doesn't happen in Victoria. Questions after questions I've been asking for 3 years elicit no comfort for anybody, and Australia actually ought to wake up to this because it is a disaster.
Look, with 30,000 kilometres of these transmissions lines carving up our farms and forests, it's pretty hard to understand how this could be called anything remotely green or environmentalist. Bev McArthur, thank you so much for your time and for your advocacy.